Okay, so I think the best way forward is to actually create that difference column to just see where are these big gaps. That's way quicker than scrolling through. So I'm going to go here and copy this column. So in Geosoft you click on the heading and click again, it'll highlight the column, copy. I'm going to paste, I pasted it already actually, in Geosoft, sorry, Excel. I pasted it over here, and then in this column, let's just delete it so we're starting from scratch, I'm going to take the difference between the rows. So here I'm going to say it's equal to the 24 minus 0, and I'm going to click on it and double click on that box and it carries it down. So here, this one here is 49 minus 24. So you can see that they're all about 24. And then I actually plotted that up. Let's just do that again. Click on the top. If you're on your mouse, on your keyboard, you hold down Shift, End, and down. Oh, and it just highlights everything. And then you go Insert. Let's do a line plot. And let's put it back at the beginning. Oh, put it at the end. Okay. I'm just going to put it at the top. Sorry. And you can see there's a few outliers, but actually if I'm expecting all of my differences to be 25, there's quite a bit of variation. So I'm going to change my scale here to be 100 so I can see a bit more detail about what's going on at the lower levels. Okay, so I changed 5,000 to 100 and I close it. And it's going to replot it. And you can see there's quite a few problems in the data. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a 0 on top, and I'm going to take this data back into Geosoft. So Shift N down, and leave out that value on the end, click copy, and I create a difference column, so I literally just typed diff and clicked enter, and then I'm going to give a space because this copying from Seismic Director is added in the star, and I click paste. You can delete this row. Okay, and now I'm going to scroll through to see where the values are different from 24. I think you can somewhere, I'm not going to be able to remember it. Geostatistical tools, you can do a histogram. Yeah, I don't think it's, the main thing I want is to be able to click along to see where the problems are. So it might be better here to just scroll through. So 24, 25, you can see it jumps here to 49. And that's where this first problem is here. There's a big gap here of 49 and then 0, 0, big jump and then some more zeros. Okay, and so the first thing to do before we do anything is to copy this database. I'm actually just going to close it so it saves everything. I'm going to go to the folder where I've got it saved. I put everything in a Geosoft folder, and I make folders according to projects. So let's scroll down. I have to try and remember where I saved it. Okay, I think it should be in here. This one we just did. You can triple check the time and the date. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I shouldn't have done that one. Okay, and so I'm literally going to create a copy. So copy, and you just can copy the GDB and put it there. And I'm going to take away that copy and I'm going to add in the word fixed. And now I go back into Geosoft and I go over here, click on database, go right click open database, and then I'm going to reload in my fixed one. So it just means whatever changes I made here, I've at least got a copy somewhere along the line. Okay, so I'd really like to just put a disclaimer here saying that the steps that I'm going to follow can have some problems with them. I mean, it's definitely not solving all your problems, but it's a general fix for the seismic data. If you need high accuracy location points, shot points, this is probably not going to give it to you. The main reason why it works for my data is because it's regional studies, looking at the general shape of the basement or stuff like that underneath. I'm not actually going to sink a well that making this fix is going to introduce errors, and then I'm going to sink my well in the wrong place. But in general, what I find with the historic seismic data is it's not people choosing where to sink a well. You actually shoot new seismic data for that. So this is just to fix some of these small problems. Okay, So on the left here, I've got the fixed data, which we actually haven't fixed yet, but it's a duplicate so that we don't write over this file and have no original copy. And here's my map. In the back, I've got the elevation data, and these points are the CDP locations. And again, let's just find out where we are. If I click on this data link button, and I seem to have lost this map, it hasn't plotted. So let's go map tools, symbols, location plot. Okay, there we are. I'm going to make sure that they're black. I want them to plot on top. Okay, there we are. Now if I go back here to data linking, that's the first option here, is this database. If I click OK and I click over here, it takes us down to the location of that point, CDP 58. And over here again, this is my difference column. So now what I want to do is use a tool in Geosoft that will infill the stations here, so that I'm not having to figure out what the X and the Y of these points are, because that's very tedious. And you can see there's one missing station here, and maybe 1, 2, 3 over here. So let's count. So this point over here, so line 57, it should also be okay, so CDP 58. We're going from line 57 all the way down to line 61, 57 to 61. So, and, oh sorry, I forgot to check this. But the problem is, you can see here, it's actually not 61, because all of these points are on top of the same CDP. So we also have to fix that, and then it jumps down. So we're actually going down to 64. So 57 to 64. Okay, and how many spaces is that? So it's including the 2 endpoints. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 is the last one. So it's 8 different points. Okay, and so now what you do, and it doesn't always work, is you go here and you, first you create a new database. And so I've done it already. I've called it fixed over here, and it's really just a database where we're putting stuff and copying and pasting it back to this main fixed database. And so I've created an X column that's 27 neg, and a Y column that's also the negative, so that I can literally take the values off of this map, put them here, and then paste them into the main database. Okay, so what you do is you go grid and image, utilities, grid profile. This grid to choose here, this doesn't really matter. We don't actually care what values we get off this grid. It has to, sorry, on this map right now, I only have one grid, and it's this topo grid, so that's fine, I can use that. It just needs to be a grid of your server area. What this function does is it extracts elevation values, but I don't actually care about the elevation values, I just care about the X and Y values. You have to put in a new line name, you can call it whatever you want. And sample interval here, our station spacing is about 24, 25. So I'm going to put in that, this is in meters. And I'm going to, here I'm digitizing it from the map, and I click OK. And it says enter points on profile, right click when you're done, escape to cancel. So I'm literally going to click on the starting point, drag a line, click on the end point, and right click, done. Line exists overwrite, it's just because I've done this before. And you can see it's putting in values here. So this is the X and Y values of points along the line. So problem arises here is that we needed 8, didn't we? Points along the line. We needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can see I have the worst memory in the world. Yeah, okay, we needed 8. But how many points do we have here? We have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So by having a station spacing of 25, it hasn't given us enough points to go to fill in here. And so I mean, this is, like I was saying, this is a really quick way to do it. I'm not if anyone knows what the problem is, let me know, but it doesn't give us enough points here. I can try change the sample interval to 24, because actually if you look at this difference columns, a lot of them are 24 point something. Let's click OK, but I don't think it's going to solve the problem. So we're just going to have some duplicate points here. Okay, it's given us 1 extra point. So we're still 1 short. So probably what I'm going to do is this last point here, I'm just going to duplicate it. I think we don't even have to copy it because it should already be there. And so it'd be interesting to make a comparison on Seismics of what it looks like with this current error, which is quite a large problem with the navigation files, compared to what it looks like if you just duplicate one point. So I mean, none of this is fixing the seismic data perfectly. Often it does fix it, but this example it hasn't. So let's go back here. Okay, so we click pasting from down here. So this is where you just have to make sure you're not doing it in the wrong place. So I'm pasting for 57. Okay, and I'm going here, I'm copying that, and I'm pasting it down here. Okay, and let's just see. If we click on it here, you can see there's the 1 point, next point. Okay, so I mean that's where our error lies. We've got 2 points really close to each other. So I'm going to replot this in red. So underneath we should have the original data, and on top we're going to plot the fixed data in red. Okay, and you can see here that's where the problem lies. Let me just try to do a different symbol and see if we can I wanted to see, oh, far too big. If we can compare the two. I'm just going to go back to dot and make it even smaller. Okay, so you can see, not the easiest, but where it's putting it in. So let's try it again for one more, but in an area where there's a bigger problem. You can see at least it's not a... Okay, well here, I was about to say, it's not a problematic database, but actually a data set, but it does have its problems. So this is over here. Let's scroll down, just so we can see the values. Okay, so that's that point. It jumps to the next point, it stays there, it jumps, it stays there, it jumps, it stays there, and it goes down. This is at CDP 178. If we go back to our seismic data, let's just see if we can pick it up. Okay, it's somewhere down here. I think I remember looking at it before, and it's just quite a narrow zone. I mean, it could be this section over here. I mean, I really would recommend keeping track of these numbers so that you can afterwards compare the different zones and just see if there's any improvement. So again, let's try it. So we're going from this one here. Let's see how many spaces we're going to have to fill up. So the main thing I didn't mention is that in SegWire files you can't delete a row. This is set information about locations. You can't delete a location that you collected stuff. So you have to fill it in with information. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 17. So we've got to have 17 points to fill in between line 176 at the top here. So let's do it again. You go grid and image, utilities, grid profile. I'm going to create a different line name here, or you really can write over, it's not serious. Your choice if you want to do 24, 25, I'm going to try 25. Okay. The nice thing about this tool is you can see this line bends. So if I went there, it's a bit off of this other point. So I'm going to actually click on the points. Still not, you're not 100% sure what's happening in the middle of the line. Okay. Okay. And this is why it's very good to put in a line number that's not 0. So do you see what I just did? The database that I was clicked on was this fixed one. And so as soon as I created this line, it put the new coordinates into this fixed database. And I literally would have overwritten my data right now. Oh, there's a discard changes button. I've been using Geosoft for ages, I just saw that now. But literally, because I wrote number 1 instead of a 0, I can right click here, and it's also a different type of line. I can go list, and I can go back to my original database. So I'm going to go here and delete this. Delete display line. Thankfully it gives you the name. Okay, I really prefer putting up here just so I can copy and paste down into it, so I don't have to worry about overwriting it. So I've clicked on my database. Let's do it one more time. Okay, there we are. And done. Overwrite. And we said we needed 16, 17. Oh, Hope said, oh, 17 will be perfect because that's exactly 17. And so you can see sometimes it works perfectly, sometimes not. So let's go back here. Oh, unfortunate that you have to do that every time. Let's click there. Okay, 176. I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to copy. Actually copy by clicking the heading. And then on my keyboard, Control C. Click here, paste, copy. And let's try and replot it and see where the red dots plot. Okay, it's looking good. So let's just click on the last one and see where it is. Down here, and immediately, let's check, moves on to the next one. Wonderful. So you can see it should be easy, sometimes it's not. And yeah, just carry on going through your data and doing that. I'm going to pause the video and just keep going and see if there's anything different, but if not, I've shown you the gist of how to do it. Okay, further down the line, instead of gaps, we seem to have variation in station spacing. So you can see it's pretty normal here. So you right click on the screen, you go measure distance, and you click from there to there, and you look at the bottom right hand side of the screen. It's about 22, 23 meters, so it's about the 25, it's just I'm so zoomed out. But then in the middle here, if I do it again, this is obviously much bigger, 150. But then also it concerns me, these ones are a hang of a lot closer together. 18 to 20. So I mean, very much there could be a hill somewhere, topography could be affecting it, but I think it's highly unlikely. I mean, the problem is the eTopo data in the background has got like a 90-meter resolution, so we're really not seeing stuff. So I mean, I could look on Google Earth and check this out, but I'm back down here, it goes back to about 25 meters. So I'm just going to assume that something's wrong here, and I'm going to do this whole section from there to there and replace all of those data. So if I click back on the top here, okay, I'm at its shot point of about 1,100, so I'm making a note of that. Let's see in our data, can we see anything on the seismics? 1,100 over here. I mean, it's difficult. It could be that vertical line there. I mean, nothing as clear as this tear, but I mean, we'd obviously be able to see it once we have fixed it and we reload the seismics. So let's just do this one. So it's a lot more to just count, so let's rather be smart about it and just look at row numbers. Okay, so I'm saying from up there to down at the bottom. So that's from 1,100, and if we scroll, I suppose on the map we can click here, down to 1,172. So you can see quite a few. And let's just check if there's any duplicates there. Okay, so it's actually 1,176. So about 76 points we're going to expect to load up. So we click back on the fixed database, grid and image, grid line. Okay, I'm going to click on the starting point over here, and I'm actually going to click along the line. I'm assuming that these locations are correct, even though they're not correctly spaced. I'm assuming that at least they're going in the right direction with their bends, and I'm clicking done. Line exists, overwrite. Let's see how many points it gave us. Okay, I think it's probably given us one more, but like I said earlier, I'm going to take that error over the error of not fixing it at all. So let's just go back to the start point. So over there, I'm going to paste it, and over here I'm going to copy and paste, and let's plot it on the map. Okay, and it's harder to see because the dots are so small, but it has filled in the gaps with the red dots. So yeah, sometimes when you get to larger regions like this, it's worth just going across the whole region and just fixing that whole line instead of doing individual little bits, and especially because that spacing was a bit weird down at the bottom. Okay, still haven't got to the overlapping part yet, but we're getting there. Okay, so this is the central part of the line, and there's some sort of merging problem. So this line is made up of 5 sections, and so I'm assuming this is where one of the sections is joined to the other. So you can see the line comes here, there's a big gap, there's another section here, there's this larger station spacing here, and then it continues down here where the station spacing goes back to normal. And so yeah, there's a bit of a problem. So just, I think we're going to just do the whole section of line instead of breaking it down into smaller bits. If you have lots of time, you can go through it each individually, or let's do this top section and then we'll do the bottom section. The big thing to look at first is just to see where exactly all of this is in your database. So let's click over here. This I know is where the line is fine. And as I scroll down, I can see the arrow moving down the line. It jumps over at some point down there, keeps going, and then jumps to the start here. And so I mean we're about 1,900 here. So if we look at our seismics, this is this, I think, this big gap over here. So let's see if we can fix it at all. And so let's zoom in here. I think we're going to have to do it to zoom in and drag along, just so that we don't create problems. So here's where I previously fixed the line. So I'm going to start here and then move down. So excuse me, let's find the exact point at which we're going to start. Okay. We go here, we go grid. Sorry, make sure you've clicked on your fixed database. Click on grid, utilities, grid profile. Click OK. Okay. And I'm going to move down here. And the problem is down here. What do you do? I don't know. I'm going to go down here and go across. And it's obviously going to cause trouble. And I'm going to click here. And then I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to pan, sorry, so I can see where to go next. I'm actually going to go all the way down here. You can see I actually clicked a little bit off from this point because I knew it wasn't exactly on the line. But again, you can't be sure. I'm going to pan again. I'm going to come down here. You can see the station spacing is close together here. You can see how much I'm really not sure on the spacing. And I'm going to click, sorry, not the spacing, on the direction to go. Click here, let's zoom, pan a bit more. Okay, we seem to be back to normal spacing here, so I'm going to right click and click on done. I'm going to overwrite. Okay, and I really should go and click back through and check exactly how many points I'm replacing. And you can see I'm being a little bit lazy, and what I'm going to do is, actually sorry, I'm going to go back here, navigation tool, previous extent, I'm going to go back here. Actually what we can do is click here, the first one, that's the easiest way to know where exactly we have to zoom to, and if I click here, and I click on that exact point, it'll get me to it in this database. Oh, sorry, so I suppose it moved us there when I clicked. Sorry, I'm waffling to myself, and so I'm literally going to copy that and paste it on top. So this is the lazy way of doing it, because I haven't checked how many points I'm replacing, but I'm going to plot it and then see what happens from there. And let's see, location plot. Okay, so it's come along down here. Let's see how far it goes. Let's see over here. So these are obviously the station spacing here must be about 50. Yeah. And so we go along here. And this is where it joins up. So it seems like we're missing these 4 spots over here. Let's go to the bottom of the last bit that we did. There. let's go back here. I want to see where it is in the database. I'm just trying to see if it's been sufficient to cover the spots. So you can see it jumps here. So that's a bit of a problem. I could go back and just maybe make my station spacing bigger. Probably what it is like over here, maybe I shouldn't have gone so jaggedly that way, and I could have gone straight down. That would have saved some space. So I think I might just go back and re-pick it. So you can see that the route I went was just too much. I took up too much distance, too much length. Okay, so I want to get to, let's zoom out so I can see this last point. That last point there is my end point and my starting point. Up there. Let's just check my end point again. So down there, I'm literally putting my finger on my screen because I have the worst memory. Up there. Okay, so let's try it one more time. I'm not going to take as many curves, and just see if I can get it to be a bit better so we're not missing any spaces. And I should be zooming in. I'm going to zoom in now. I'm going to right click navigation tool, zoom in. Oh, right click. Probably should have used the other zoom in. There you are, that's much better. Okay. And I can see here where the red dots are now, so I can take a few shortcuts. It's probably not going to solve all of our problems, but maybe a little bit. Down there, across. Down here. I'm going to cut across here. And I think it was to this one here. And right click, done. And let's see how that works. I just want to triple check I went to the right spot. Yeah, this is where we're starting to see our gaps. So I'm going to zoom out again and copy and paste. So that's the starting point there. And I want to find it on this database down here so I can paste it in the right place. Okay, so copy, paste. Okay, let's plot it on the map. Okay, and let's zoom back down here and see if we solved the gap problem. I can't actually figure out where it was, down there. I'm not sure we have. No, we still got a gap. Actually, oh, that's okay. So I'm guessing, let's just get here on our database. Let's see where it's going. So one, it's jumping there. I mean, this one we should ideally be placed here. Something you can do is you literally could do 1 point. So it just depends how much effort you want to put in. Line exists, overwrite. So that's that point I want to overwrite. I mean, there's still errors, it's still not right, but again, we're just trying to make it more right than not. Oh, and my computer's having a heart attack. Hopefully it doesn't crash. I'm just going to pause the video until it's recovered, and it crashed. Let me pause the video. Okay, always save your work. I didn't, so I had to redo it. But you can see here, so we've got 3 missing points. So it's not ideal, but it's still better than what it was. So now we have to deal with this random offshoot line over here. So let's see, where are we on our map? I suppose the easier thing to do is just click on the map here and click it there, and it takes us to where we need to be in the database. Let's zoom out a bit so we can just understand better what's going on. Okay, and then from here in the database, it jumps probably back up to the top. I'm not going to move on my screen, but I'm assuming it's coming down the line there. You can see it's still a bit of a problem. The line's still quite erratic. And then I'm hoping down here it goes back to normal spacing. Not great, probably down here. So we're going to go from here down to this point over here. And so again, we click over here. We go grid and image, utilities, grid profile. And I'm going to click on that last point there. I mean, very difficult to know where exactly is this line going. I'm going to go to here to where the points start coming closer together because that seems a bit more accurate. This time we might actually have to measure that we've got the right number of points. And I'm coming to the last point here and I'm kind of clicking down done. Alright. Okay, so we've got 158 points. Now I want to see how much that's going to fit into the line. That's the beginning of it. And so I need to write this down. 158, and we're starting at row 1912. So with 158 we should come out at 2070. Let's see how close to that this point down here is. 2068, so not far. So we're probably going to overwrite a little bit. So you could be more accurate and go back and just triple check and duplicate, but I'm actually going to just paste it and see what it does. And let's plot it on the map. Okay. Let's zoom down here and see what this looks like. Okay, so we're missing these 2 points again. So again, I could go back and adjust it, but I think you guys are quite tired of me going through this line. So I'm assuming I'm going to fix up the last little bits, and then I want to look at what does it actually look like. How does it change the seismic section? So I'll do that in the next video.